Well, everybody is kind of looking forward to, of course, Spider-Man and then Avengers Doomsday and then Avengers Secret Wars. But we all know that then coming after that is the 7-year long awaited final arrival of the X-Men into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I still remember the day that it got announced that Disney was buying out Fox and all that kind of stuff. And people say, we're going to get an X-Men movie next year, despite the fact that Kevin Feige said, no, we've already got the next 5 years planned. Yet, nevertheless, every time a new Marvel movie was coming out, everybody would project and predict that X-Men were going to pop up in that movie. Well, here we are now, many years later, but we are finally going to be getting an X-Men film. And we know it's being directed by the same guy who directed Thunderbolts, which I think he did a marvelous job on Thunderbolts. So who's going to be their villains, all that kind of stuff? Well, there's a report going around that we will file this one under the rumor mill. We're going to file this one under the rumor mill. But you guys might have seen, if you follow a lot of the online sites, that they're reporting right now that Narcos star and the secret agent, Golden Globe winning, Academy Award nominated actor Wagner Moura, they're saying he is being talked to play the role of Nathaniel Essex, AKA, honestly, one of the dumbest names in comic books, Mister Sinister. How on the nose
how
can
dare
you be?
You shut your dirty mouth.
How on the nose can you be? What's your name? My name's Big Bad Guy. I am Mister Sinister. By the way,
call himself that.
I think Nathaniel Essex is one of the greatest villains in comic book history. Like, to me, other than Magneto, I actually think Mister Sinister is like a low-key MVP of my all-time favorite comic book story, Age of Apocalypse. But whatever. But they're talking about Wagner Moura playing the role. And this guy, look, we're going to ask the same two questions we always do with rumored casting. We're going to talk about whether we think it's believable, and then we're going to say, okay, let's assume for a minute it's real. How would we feel about it? Let me start with the believability of this. I'm going to lean to the side of believability because, and I only say this about once out of every 10 or 20 casting rumors that come around. This is one I heard myself a number of weeks ago. I didn't like, but that doesn't mean anything though, guys. Like, I get like 20 of these come across into my email inbox like every day, and 99.999% of them don't mean anything. And that's why I never bring them up and talk about them. But this one is interesting because this is actually one that I heard mentioned to me a few weeks ago. That does not mean it's legit. It doesn't mean it's real. I just thought I should at least mention that I'm going to find this at least a little bit more believable than some of the previous sort of casting rumors that we've had. The other reason I find it a little believable is because this is a great guy to come out of the gate with. Mr. Sinister is a great guy to come out of the gate with because there are a lot of other bigger bads, like whether you want to do Apocalypse or whether you want to do Onslaught, or whether you want to do like different stories, and how do you want Magneto to fit into all this? Is he your villain? Is he an anti-hero? I mean, there's a lot of different ways you can go with Magneto and all this too. And nothing says you have to have just one villain in a film. So because it's Mr. Sinister, and I think he's a great introductory kind of villain for an X-Men movie franchise, that's why I also think it's kind of believable. Okay, let's move on from the is it believable thing, which I'll lean towards believable. Let's assume now for a moment that it's true. It might not be, but let's just, for the moment, for the sake of the discussion, let's assume it is. How would I feel about it? Bang on world class. Bang on absolute world class. This guy got all of our attention when he was in Narcos. Like, the whole world sat up and took notice. And then, of course, like with Secret Agent, he just kind of snuck in there and caught the world by surprise again. The dude is absolutely phenomenal. Is he like the number one best guy in the world to do it? Oh, I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe there are a couple of other names that we could come up with that would also be very, very good. But you know me, when it comes to X actor and X role, is the person you're putting up there a ridiculously talented performer? Wagner Moura is an award-winning, ridiculously talented performer. And what I think he could bring to this role would be just nutty. Anyway, Rob, let's go over to you on this. The two questions we always ask with these rumor mill castings. Number one, do you find it believable that he could be playing Mr. Sinister? And then number two, just assume, regardless of what you think about the first question, assuming it's real, how would you feel about it? What do you think?
Well, first of all, I think it's absolutely a possibility he's playing Nathaniel Essex, because why not? They haven't used Mr. Sinister. I mean, they were building up to it, but they never actually used him.
Remember, they were going to use him. Originally, they were going to use him in New Mutants, and they were going to shoot like a post-credit scene with him and all that kind of stuff, and all that got abandoned. But we never got him in live action.
Was it the end of The Wolverine where you see, or was it in?
The little foreshadowing thing they did. Yeah.
So I think, look, I've always loved the character. I don't care that if he walked into a room, no one's going to believe he's good in that garb. I mean, there's just something. He's totally garish and over the top, but I love him anyway. But Wagner Moura is currently starring in Flesh of the Gods, the new Panos Cosmatos movie he's co-starring with Kristen Stewart, with a script by Seven's Andy Kevin Walker that I read years ago. That's just insane. And it's kind of a vampire 80s. It's Bret Easton Ellis meets The Hunger kind of. I can't wait. But he's great. And I think he'd be a perfect Mr. Sinister. And I'll tell you one thing, like, people make fun of it, but I thought that what Oscar Isaac did as Apocalypse was amazing. He was so good as Apocalypse. The only problem was that movie doesn't have a third act, really. And the first half I think is really, really good. But I'm not so sure it had a first act or a second act either, but that's just me. It did. But it's hard. This character is hard to portray on. I mean, both Apocalypse and Mister Sinister are hard to portray on screen and make them credible.
Yes.
And but I love Mister Sinister. I love me some X-Men. I was driving into LA last night, and I was flipping through Instagram as I drove, as one does, and there was all these clips from Days of Future Past, and it was the scene where Wolverine shows up at X Mansion looking for the professor.
Oh, and he talks to Hank. Yeah,
and he's like, "Beastie, you're in there." I mean, I'm like, that movie is so good. It's so good, and I really hope. I honestly, John, I am deliriously excited to see what the MCU does with the X-Men, because I love the X-Men like I love Star Trek. Like, I always say that, but I really do. And man, they can do a lot. I hope it's great. Please be great.
Whenever one of us brings up X-Men Days of Future Past, I can't help but wax poetic. This conversation comes all the time. Like, whenever you talk about top 10 greatest comic book movies of all time, I unapologetically, maybe top 5, but I'll at least easily that X-Men Days of Future Past is the top 10 greatest comic book film of all time. Like, that movie's so good.
And Hugh Jackman is so good in it.
Yeah.
That whole scene when he talks to the professor, it's like a 10-minute scene. And there's a great shot where he's walking down the corridor and Beast is behind him.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like practical where it just jumps behind. It's so great.
Almost, I might even think better than that is like those scenes where it's like on the plane and Logan is just and Magneto are just talking. Like, it's like, like
it's all character.
Yeah, it's all character. I love that one.
And there's two different cuts of it.
Yeah. So
the road
I guess
cut.
The big question we have going into it is, is Marvel going to be delivering us X-Men Days of Future Past, Marvel X-Men 2 X-Men? Or is it going to be giving us Age of Apocalypse, X-Men 3 kind of X-Men? I kind of hope the original, but we'll see.
I think they're going to lead up to it. I think they're going to use the X-Men crossover events are so large that I think they'll give us multiple X-Men movies and lead up to an Age of Apocalypse, or lead up to Days of Future Past, or lead up to the Dark Phoenix saga. They'll build it up the way it has never been built up before.
By the way, I'm going to assume somebody just in the live chat threw this in. Remember I said, like, I'm not saying Wagner Moura would be the only guy to do it. There could be better. When you say Ellis, if you're talking about Tom Ellis, the guy who played Lucifer dark smirk. If they had come out and announced Tom Ellis, who played Lucifer on the TV show Lucifer, was going to play Mister Sinister, holy shit, man. That would almost be on the level of casting Patrick Stewart as Charles Xavier to me. Like, that would be right up there. He would be so good in that role. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? Again, remember, this is firmly in the rumor mill department, okay? But there are reports going around that we could be getting Golden Globe, Academy Award nominated actor Wagner Moura as maybe playing Nathaniel Essex, also known as Mister Sinister, in the upcoming X-Men relaunch. You like it? Don't like it? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts.